Hey everyone, welcome back and happy Friday. All right, guys. Well, if you did not catch our hot messy topics with Kendrick Tucker from I Can You Not, wow, the energy, the excitement, just you could tell, just like with any other creator that we bring on, guys, it's such a community, such a feel good moment to literally take ourselves out of everything that's going on in our day to day, whether it's bills, everyday life struggles, whatever it is. And it's like a reprieve. It's like a time to sit back. I don't care where you're at in the world because we have everybody all over the world watching. Grab a glass of wine or grab your coffee, your morning Joe, or I never understood why they called it that, and just sit back and have fun. And that's exactly what today was. It was such a feel good. But as of right now, I wanted to talk about this little bit of drama that's going on, and it involves Dorit Kemsley's husband, PK. Now, I just want to start off by saying I have never had any negative interactions with PK. I know that I've had Kim from Bravo Breaking News. She has opinions. I've had our Taste of Reality girls. I've had Kendrick. I know a lot of people, we all have different opinions. That is what I love about the Up and Adam channel, because that is exactly what we welcome from everywhere. If you are kind of silly enough to put yourself on TV, more importantly on Bravo, on reality television, you're going to get all of the opinions, and that's exactly what's going on. So smash the like button, show some love. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Welcome Pippa, my little baby horse. And let's just get into it. Let me start here. I hope she doesn't mind me sharing. I really, really do. But she's speaking with Emily Hanks. Okay. I actually reached out to Emily. Emily works with Kendrick on Sundays. They do live shows, so you can check their live shows out. I asked her if she would like to come on. I think that she would be great on Up and Adam. And hopefully she responds and says yes. But if not, you never know. I haven't received an answer yet, but I just reached out like an hour or 2 hours ago. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I was doing a deep dive into her. I always do that before I invite anybody onto my channel. And I saw this, so I wanted to talk about it. She said, PK sent me a lovely DM last night. I was like, this already doesn't sound like it's going to a good place. Okay, let's dive into it. She said, reposted with context, next post, and the comments are open there. All right, let's just go into this post then. Not as clear though. Is there any chance at all that you could stop lying? I was married to my first wife for 20 years, not 9. I've never had a house foreclosed upon ever, and I remain super close with all of my children, particularly my 3 older ones who are not on social media. And I do not appreciate you grabbing an old photograph and posting their images on your disgusting blog. So please take their image down. Just stop lying for clicks and money. Feel free to post this message, although I doubt you will, as it will show everyone just what total shit you talk and how you have no regard for kids that are not in your super sick world. Listen, I'm going to say this. I think that there's a lot of emotion, a lot of tension running high right now in that space for Dorit and PK. I think that Dorit has completely clowned PK. This was a conversation again that I had with Kim from Bravo Breaking News. I love Kim, you guys. I've hung out with Kim in Vegas. I've hung out with Kim in LA. I just think she is an absolute sweetheart. And she had the opinion of she didn't understand why we were giving PK the space to have a platform on the show. It is called The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Well, I was kind of just playing devil's advocate in our conversation when we did our reunion part 1 recap. And I was just saying, listen, like, do you think maybe because Dorit came strong out of the gate, calling him an alcoholic, a monster, and a bad dad, that he deserves the platform to be able to share his side of the story? I think that's okay. Am I the biggest fan of the way that it's being presented, that he only sees his kids on Saturdays if he's in town, but then also he wants to claim to be a good dad? I think that there's more that we're missing from that conversation. I don't know. But also Kim opened my eyes to something else. I think that when we're looking at what Dorit is saying on the show and everybody's like, Dorit, this is so harsh against PK. And Dorit's like, well, Kim made a good point saying, hey, listen, I think that she's giving us a little bit. She's not taking us all the way there. She's not really giving us the full context of what's happening behind the scenes. So this to her is so minuscule in the grand scheme of what is actually happening, right? And if that's the case, Kim makes a very, very, very valid point. If that is in fact the case, I completely heard what she was saying. Again, why I love doing this channel. But moving on, Emily wrote back and said, I think sharing this message will only demonstrate the way in which you communicate, and you sent it after 2 a.m. nonetheless. While the years you were married to your ex-wife may be wrong, which I will correct because I do like to be accurate, I never said your homes were foreclosed on, but they were in pre-foreclosure, which I stated in my content. In regard to your relationship with your children, it's interesting that you say you remain close with them, particularly your 3 older ones, being that the younger ones are here in LA. And in the midst of your separation, I would think that you would want to ensure that relationship is strong. But that's good to know. Do you send all content creators and podcasters messages like these, or am I the lucky one? Okay. So it goes on and says, 4 of my kids are in LA, 1 studying in Rio. I personally stay away from my kids, full stop. Your content is designed to defame, but that's up to you. Obviously, it goes without saying that I'm close with my little ones, and you're the lucky one that gets to hear from me because everything you said was made up. Keep writing and posting about my family, and you'll see how lucky you get. If you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. You're not a content creator. You're a liar who posts what she wants behind a filter. That's probably marginally more of a misleading image than that of which you talk about. Go for it. See what a father who loves his kids will go and do to protect them when someone is out to harm them. And me, good luck. Oh, okay. Continues on. She posted PK blocking.
So PK is about to have 2 sets of ex-wives and children he barely sees, allegedly. I also didn't realize he was married to his first wife for 9 years as well. I know Dorit has since stated that she regrets saying PK is a bad father, but I did wonder when she said that he would go away for weeks after they'd have a bad fight. I was like, but the kids, they didn't. And also, it seems so ludicrous to most of us that they would think they could keep their separation from the children, but it seems like they basically were separated. I have learned not to believe everything either side of a situation says, but PK was on Bravo's Hot Mic, and he said that Dorit bringing up things like bankruptcies, gambling debts, that all of those things actually happened before Dorit. So her claiming she's been all supportive this whole time isn't totally true. Yeah, sure, maybe technically. So PK is about to have 2 sets of ex-wives and children. They happened before, but they affected your marriage. For example, yes, the Bellagio sued PK in 2013 for the $3.6 million he owed them. But then in 2022, the Bellagio came out and said, PK has defaulted on our settlement. So that sounds pretty current. Then there was that lawsuit from Nikos Kyrgios, who loaned PK money in 2011. Yes, 2011. But then in 2019, he sued PK because he's like, bro, you still haven't paid me. So then Dorit and PK were both ordered to freeze their accounts and present their financials to the court. So again, Dorit's affected. PK wants to make his life before Dorit not a thing, but honestly, he's basically repeating what he did with his first wife, Loretta. So in 2013, he was sued along with his then wife, Loretta, by PNC Bank. They happened before, but they affected your marriage for defaulting on the mortgage payments. At the time, the bank was demanding the full amount owed, which was over $730,000. But they did eventually drop the suit in 2014, possibly because PK repaid what they owed. But now we see from Well, allegedly, from what Dorit says that was in the email, he had no plans on continuing to pay the mortgage. And now their house is in, or was in pre-foreclosure. So when Dorit said, I am that token idiot housewife, I was like, oh no, but you are. And Bose tried to help her out. Bose is like, no, you're just taking the rose colored glasses off. And Dorit's like, rose colored equals idiot. So she knows PK stopped her career. When he met her, she was a designer. She had her bathing suit line. He said, I want a woman who's going to stay home, raise the kids. I don't want you to work. And she left her career to just be a housewife because she believed PK for defaulting on the mortgage payment.
Wow. All right, guys. Well, again, if you want to know more, you guys can go to She's Speaking with Emily Hanks. Now, I had my own DM exchange with PK, and PK told me that I was one of the creators who he appreciated what I had to say. But at the time, to be fair, has nothing to do with what Emily Hanks said. I was just talking about how I did not like how this personal business bled into reality TV, even though I know it's reality TV. I don't agree with the he should not have a say so when his name is being completely defamed as an alcoholic, a monster, and a bad dad. I think that there should also be a place for him to speak on that. But to be fair, also to contradict that or to accompany that, piggyback off of it, if you will, Bravo did ask him if he wanted to come and speak his truth. Now, when he talked to me, he said that he sat down with Dorit in that moment, the scene that they filmed together, and literally 90% of what he said was not shared, and it was played in Bravo's favor to benefit Dorit. Do I believe a part of that? Yes, because it's always going to be in favor of the person who signed the contract. I know this for a fact from different circumstances, and those I can't talk about. But in this case, it's just a really shitty situation. I want to hear what you guys think, guys. Pop off in the comment section. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. If you guys are not following Emily Hanks, go to She's Speaking with Emily Hanks. Follow her for more because it seems like she's really on top of it. And I love you guys so much. Happy Friday. And let's just kick off this week in the best way possible. Love you guys. Bye.